Hey everyone, welcome back to Cash is Queen. I am your host, Katie Lipp, and today I'll be talking about why I coach women, law firm, and business owners, and also what I'm building behind the scenes. So, just to start out, I remember sitting in rooms earlier in my legal career where I didn't see anyone like me up at the top in leadership as the owner of the business. And so I want to get into why role models matter, why I built what I built with Law Practice Queen Business Coaching, and also with my own law firm, the Lipp Law Firm, and also what I'm working on right now. This episode is for women law firm owners, women lawyers, women building businesses, and women figuring it out as they go. So, why do role models matter? There is certainly a gap. There's not just a lack of women, but there's a lack of relatable examples of success. And so, what actually happens if you don't have role models? You lack confidence in your own decision making. You start copying what other people are doing, even if it doesn't fit you. You feel pressure to follow a traditional path, maybe bill more, work more, grow a certain way, and you feel guilty when your version of success looks different. And so it's not that you don't know what you're doing. It's just that you haven't seen enough examples of people doing it in a way that actually aligns with how you want to work and live. And so let me get into, my personal why and the evolution that I went through in my career, just to give you some context. So I started out, I passed the Virginia bar in 2010, so 16 years ago, and I worked for a long time in various law firms. And also I jumped around practice areas as well. I started out doing government contracts law, then I went over to construction law, and then I switched over to labor and employment law, which I still practice today. And I worked my way up to partner in a Virginia law firm. And I had my daughter, who is, she's now older, but at the time was younger, and I was figuring things out as a new mom. And I needed more time to work my way. I needed to work remotely, which wasn't available to me at the time. I needed to work on the cases and clients I wanted to work on, not just cases that other people were giving to me and telling me to work on. And so I just needed I knew how to practice law, but I just needed more flexibility in my legal career. And I actually wasn't thinking about entrepreneurship, but then I stumbled upon a social media post from who would eventually become one of my business coaches, Kara Allwill, talking about creating your own life and running your own business. And I'd never really considered myself as the type of person that would start a business. I had a lot of self-limiting beliefs around running a business. I thought I wasn't smart enough, that it would be too stressful, and sadly that a lot of men were potentially better at it because all I was seeing around me was male law firm owners. And of course, those are all untrue, self-limiting, mindsets. And it took me some time to get past those. And once I did, I realized, no, I'm smart enough to do this. And actually, it will be less stressful running my own practice because I'll have full control over everything. And then also, of course, there's plenty of female law firm owners that are absolutely killing it. But it was really sad that I had those mindsets because I even came from a family where there were entrepreneurs. My grandfather was an entrepreneur, my mom. And so without a lot of female law firm owner role models around me, I developed these self-limiting beliefs and mindsets. And so I wanted to, once I started my own firm and saw how much easier it was to run a firm than being in somebody else's firm and being in full control of the show, I wanted to show other women that what it would look like if they decided to take this path and to be a role model to other women in law, women that are considering starting their own businesses, and frankly, being a role model to my daughter. And so that's kind of the evolution I went through. I went from lawyer to law firm owner, and then I also started Law Practice Queen Business Coaching as my business consultancy, where I coach female lawyers and entrepreneurs on business growth. And I also coach law firm teams on business growth. And I've seen this pattern repeatedly where I see smart, capable women who are stuck in indecision or overwork, and they just give up instead of, meaning they give up as a lawyer and get out of the industry entirely because they're burnt out. And maybe they could consider entrepreneurship, but they don't have enough role models around them to even put that on the menu of choices, right? And I see them stuck in this overwork pattern, or maybe they just, like I said, don't have those role models. And so that's why I started Law Practice Queen Business Coaching, to give other women an example of how you can start a law firm, how you can grow a law firm, and also start and grow a business, and to support other women business owners doing that same thing. So it's definitely the lack of female business owners or female law firm owners compared to male business owners and law firm owners. It's not based on capability. It's about support, it's about exposure, and it's about strategy. And so when I coach law firm teams and coach business owners, I help them get more clients, better systems, stronger teams, help them make clearer decisions, and have less second guessing. So let me get into a little bit into the behind the scenes updates of what I've been building. I'll talk first about the growth and direction of my law firm. So my law firm, the Lip Law Firm, we focus on labor and employment, business, and also intellectual property law for businesses, executives, professionals, and educators. So, and we have attorneys licensed in Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, so the DMV area. And what that means, so just to put that into context, and what I'm really focused on growing is I help in my day-to-day a lot of businesses of all size, whether it's small, medium, or large, particularly Virginia businesses, help them with compliance with employment laws. So they contact us asking questions about particular employment laws and how to apply them, usually in the context of an employee situation, a difficult employee situation, whether that's a medical accommodation they're asking for, or maybe the company needs to discipline the employee or terminate the employee. So we help the company protect themselves legally through, reviewing communications that go to the employee, or if discipline or termination needs to occur, make sure that it is done properly and in a way that's going to reduce legal exposure and protect the company from legal liability. That's a big part of my practice. And then we also do traditional labor law. So we do, on the management side, representing the company adverse to a labor union, we help the company with collective bargaining, which is basically negotiations against the union with regards to the contract that governs between the union and the employer, which is the collective bargaining agreement, or also known as a CBA. We help with those types of labor union matters, or if there's a grievance that's filed by the labor union with regards to something that management has done, we help with grievances as well. We help with labor arbitration. And then we help with all sorts of labor and employment disputes or anything involving compliance, both on the employer and the employee side. But what I've been really focusing on is growing that corporate area of the practice. I really like supporting companies and watching them grow. And then also on the consulting side with Law Practice Queen business coaching, I am continuing to focus on the Law Practice Queen Squad. The Law Practice Queen Squad, if you're craving real connection with female business owners and not just surface level networking, the Law Practice Queen Squad is a community of women. We meet regularly via Zoom and we share what is helping business-wise with no filters. We just had a really good networking event this month in April of 2026, and we're just sharing what was working for us business-wise, bringing in clients, different tips, and it was super helpful. Everybody was taking notes, everybody was sharing, collaborating. So it's a great network to join if you're growing your business as a female entrepreneur or female lawyer. And it also gives you, in addition to access to networking events, it gives you a 60-minute coaching session once a year with me. And so we can talk about anything. We can talk about growing your business or areas where you're stuck. And it's a really great way to help you grow your business if you're a female entrepreneur or lawyer. The Law Practice Queen Squad. I also am focusing on, for Law Practice Queen business coaching, I'm focusing on coaching and consulting for law firm teams. So if you are running a law firm and you want to grow, but with more clarity and less chaos, I help with systems, client growth, team structure, decision making, and my go-to type of client for this offering is a multi-attorney firm that's ready to scale intentionally. So I've really been enjoying coaching law firm teams. It is just so rewarding and very interesting to see these law firms grow and grow in such a way that works for them and is bespoke to what they need. So if you want community and you want to join the Law Practice Queen Squad, the link is in the show notes to check that out. Or if you're ready to grow your law firm with more structure and support, check out my coaching and consulting, or just reach out. I'm always happy to connect. Maybe you need assistance with a legal issue as well. Feel free to reach out to me. I'll put all of my links in the show notes. And just know that you don't have to build your business by copying someone else. You can do it your way, and in a way that's not burning you out, in a way that's sustainable. And I just want to encourage you on that path. There's more than one way to build a successful, profitable law firm or successful, profitable business. So thank you so much for listening. If this episode was helpful, I'd love it if you could leave a review, and please share this with someone that needs to hear it. I hope you have a great day ahead, and I'll see you next time.